Yeah, I thought it was a score draw on balance. I thought both of the leaders really played up to their key strengths, and both of them had weaknesses which were kind of opposite to each other. So I thought Jeremy Corbyn was strong when it came to answers on funding in the public sector and kind of redistribution, but he was much weaker on questions of defence, and that was something that he really kind of stumbled over a little bit. And I think the opposite for Theresa May, she was really challenged on questions of the health service and education, but kind of seemed to be a bit more sure-footed, perhaps surprisingly on leadership, which has been a question over the last few days, and was really quite clear on Brexit as well.
Well, I lost in election bingo. I had strong and stable leadership. I was hoping for that to make a return, but was disappointed. The magic money tree did, so that was good. But no, and I think there's a serious point to that. Theresa May has clearly been listening to her advisors, and that she needed to be much more freewheeling and open and seeming to be more direct, and she did manage that. I mean, the two things that struck me were the sense in which old weaknesses of both parties, things that people like Tony Blair and David Cameron worked really hard to try and overcome, seem to have just become apparent once more. The Conservatives, the public don't think they're to be trusted on the NHS, they don't think they're to be trusted on social care. These were issues that were driving the questions, and you would expect a well-prepared leader to be able to handle those really deftly. And I didn't think Theresa May did that very well. She was very wrong-footed by the nurse's question about the 1% pay rise. That had come up earlier in the campaign with food bank questions, so that was a surprise. She should have done that better. If I was advising someone on an interview, I would have said, that's an expected question, you should have prepped for it. She didn't seem to have done so. Equally, Jeremy Corbyn, again, very obvious questions coming his way about terrorism, about nuclear disarmament, his willingness to use the deterrent, about high tax and its impact on business. Those, again, he was not as sure-footed as you'd expect. I think in that sense we need to remember both the leaders of the parties are human beings. They're at the end of a really gruelling campaign. I think you could see at one point the light fade behind Jeremy Corbyn's eyes as yet again someone said, would you press the button? And I think that's what you also need to bear in mind here. This is that point. This is, we're approaching. No one's going to get a knockout. We're in the 10th round. They're struggling on. They're going to see who can win it in points. They're almost holding each other up, and can't wait until Thursday when they can cast their votes, sit down, and wait for the public to decide.
We all agree with that.
Absolutely.
Very good.